And moving on over to Tuesday night. I like this. We're pretty much going down the line of the week that was in pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
So Tuesday night was Impact Wrestling on Access TV. And this was the fallout from Slammiversary. And all of us were very intrigued because, as I said before, Slammiversary is Impact's version of WrestleMania. And we all know it's legendary now that the night after WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, it's always known for big stuff happening because it is like very much a reset of like what's their storylines are, call-ups, surprises, what they want to do next for beginning of the spring and rest of the summer season, pretty much. So Slammiversary came and went, and now we have the fallout on this week's episode of Impact Wrestling. So Richard, I know you took a lot of notes on this show. You have some pros and cons. So yeah, kind of give me your initial just thoughts of this week's episode of Impact Wrestling.
You know, I think I enjoyed the show, but I think for new viewers, it was not a good show.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. I was just thinking that.
There was so much bad comedy, and I'm fine with comedy and wrestling, but bad comedy is bad.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't care to understand. It looks like they're going to continue with whatever this Wrestler House thing is.
Yeah.
Generally, I just kept making the notes that the women's division needs tightening up. Referees need to tighten up because I would see these slow counts. And I know WWE has a rule that if it's a 3 count, count it, whether that was what the decision was supposed to be or not.
Yeah.
And this is proof as to why. It was just kind of iffy. It felt like it was cool to see all the people make their debuts or returns. So we'll see where it goes from there.
Go on.
Go ahead, Tommy.
No, go on. I was going to say that the segments, someone commented they look like it was like the old Hogan era backstage segments that had a baby with Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
So if you want to put it,
that's accurate.
Put it kindly, you know,
because I can't even say it felt like Vince Russo booking because it was worse than that. So,
yeah.
My other note was it felt like the ex WWE talent still feel like they're finding their place, but Reno Scum against Good Brothers next week looks pretty appetizing.
It looks enticing.
Yeah. So that's coming off the heels of the Good Brothers. They had their promo in the ring this week, just kind of follow up from their appearance at Slammiversary. And just pretty much they said how excited and happy they are to be in Impact Wrestling. But based on what the comments on their podcast last week, I guess this was their only option post WWE.
Yeah.
They kind of screwed up the deal with AEW that they had last year. But anyway, you can look up the transcripts of all that or listen to the podcast for all the details. But
plus EC3 is back, so I'm glad.
So yeah, so a lot. I mean,
well, it felt like it was the tale of two shows. It felt like a lot of the newer, younger talent are kind of exposed by the veterans because I typically hate that walking dumpster fire Sami Callihan, but his segment with Ken Shamrock I thought was like that's some good storytelling right there. And I mean, what kind of saved the show for us was, for me, the main event, and we talked before the show, but that was all of our match of the week. The main event was just stellar.
So
I enjoyed it.
You know, I'm going to watch again this week and see how it is.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Eddie Edwards, the new Impact World Champion, he came out to cut a promo and pretty much just said he wants to be like the working man's or the working people's champion for that company. He wants to defend it.
He does boring promos.
He wants to defend it as much as he can. So I think he's just trying to establish himself as a working champion. I think obviously since Tessa Blanchard didn't defend it that much, well, part of it was because of the pandemic going on and all the other issues surrounding her. So I think the fact that he's just trying to reestablish himself not only as a babyface champion, but as a workhorse, and he wants to put that title
like Drew McIntyre is in the WWE.
Yeah, so he wants to put that title on a big, give it that prestige love it deserves. And while doing that, Eric Young came out, talked some trash to him, and they had a little bit of a back and forth fighting.
Yeah,
and so I'm guessing Eric Young's going to be maybe the first guy that Eddie Edwards challenges or has to go up against.
But then
Trey also confronted Eddie Edwards in the hallway. So
he wanted the title shot.
So yeah, people are coming after Eddie Edwards already. So he's going to have a handful of guys to go up against that want to challenge for that title.
Yeah.
And then Tommy, as you just said, EC3, he made an appearance. There was a promo at the beginning of the show about his kind of part of his gimmick is control your narrative.
Trouble.
Trouble.
I got his theme song stuck in my head.
So Moose had a match defending the TNA World Championship.
Yeah.
He wins. EC3 comes out and attacks him. And so I'm guessing EC3 and Moose is going to be the new thing for them two.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because EC3, he was, TNA champion.
Yeah.
So maybe he kind of feels like Moose should not be disrespecting his era with the company.
That old belt. Yeah.
Also, we saw the man formerly known as Heath Slater, just now known as Heath.
Yeah.
He's trying to get into the building, but security guard's like, your name's not on here. And he's like, well, my full name's not on there because I can't use it anymore. So I thought that was kind of funny. So he's just Heath now. He's like Cher or Madonna. He's just one name.
Yeah.
Cesaro,
yeah.
So he's tried calling Rhino. Rhino's not answering. He's dealing with Hernandez. So all that stuff was cool. Like Heath. And then we saw Heath at the very end sneak into the back door after Jimmy Jacobs was leaving. And so we'll see how that progresses, but it's very much similar to him being as a free agent back on when Raw and SmackDown didn't draft him. So it's kind of a callback to that storyline 4 years ago.
I thought the EC3 thing, the lights should have gone out. That was my only thing with that segment is that the lights should, because you just saw everything happen. It was just like, that wasn't anticlimactic at all.
Yeah.
He grabbed his shoulder kind of weird.
He grabbed his shoulder, and then, but like if the lights went out and then he was behind him, I think that could have been a little cooler.
I thought he should have grabbed Moose by the headband, the bandana, he was wearing,
I was a little concerned earlier on in the show because I don't remember if it was before or after the Moose match, but I got really excited to see that we were going to get Rhino and Hernandez, and then it just turned into a nothing.
Yeah, it was
like I'm thinking, oh, cool, two veterans I'm very familiar with, and then it's like, no, you're not getting it.
No.
Yeah, it just went over, like the old saying goes, it just went over like a fart in church.
Yeah. So because I would have preferred them to do what they did there with Moose and the sumo guy.
Yeah.
Opposed to the other way around.
Yeah. I hear you. So it's they're still introducing these new signings, even though everyone who's been Heath, EC3, they're all saying, oh, they're not officially signed with the company yet. So all right, for kayfabe's sake, all right, they're what do you call it? People sneaking into the facility, if you want to call it that. So, but yeah, the main event though, the tag titles, the North taking on Motor City Machine Guns. Man, that was awesome.
That was really, really good. I thought that Chris Sabin looks like he's got ring rust, but he had these moments in the match of just complete brilliance. Because I mean, that was a guy that used to have one-on-ones with AJ Styles at a high level. So yeah. I just think the more he's in the ring, the better. And I also wrote down that Alex Shelley should be their world champion. Like, the dude's in the best shape.
Yeah.
Best shape I've ever seen him. And he looks like a star. Like, that's the guy that you want to carry your company.
I could see, maybe, him and Eddie Edwards can have something down the road. Kind of two OGs from TNA going at it. This match, I'm just trying to think, I think Sabin, he does have the rust. And I told you, I was looking up kind of like on Wikipedia, like, what's he been up to? Because we've seen Alex Shelley on NXT earlier this year, and he's been making appearances and other promotions. And I was like, well, where's Chris has been? And I guess since like early 2019, he's been like working behind the scenes at Impact as a producer. So I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. He's been with the company for a minute now, back with them, because both of them have long history with TNA. And I know they both left, when their deals were up, and then with the Ring of Honor and New Japan, and they were doing various other promotions. So to see them kind of come back to Impact, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, at this latter part of their career. So with that being said, though, I was like, oh, Chris, he's a producer, so he booked himself to win the tag titles when he gets back on TV. So But nonetheless, I think this show, okay, because the North winning the tag title or retaining at Slammiversary, that was the only belts to retain. Everyone else changed hands that week, that Saturday show. So then this week, I was like, okay, you need something big to kind of draw viewers in, something big to happen to get people talking. I was like, hey, what's the last thing that didn't happen? Oh, it was the tag titles changing hands. And what better?
Worked.
It worked because they've been champions for over a year, the North I'm referring to. So it gets people talking. And then that kind of also, it's like the last step of this restart for Impact Wrestling. And then it plays perfectly into the North storyline because they've been complaining that they don't feel welcome or appreciated for being the best tag team in their minds in the world, for being champions for over a year. Now that they lost the tag titles, now they can be extremely bitter and kind of maybe go on a tear. You know what I mean? So this is kind of the last step. So I'm excited now. What's the North going to do to maybe get back into the title hunt?
Yeah. I don't know, but man, that team is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I had never seen them until Slammiversary, and it was just like, God damn, that is superb tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
So
in general, I'm still happy or excited to see Impact, what they have lined up next. It's
what are your takeaways on Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne as an announced team?
I've actually thought about asking you that too. So we're both thinking the same thing. Tommy and I were talking earlier. It's interesting because, okay, the break kayfabe, they're married. They're an actual married couple.
Yeah, and everyone knows it, but they act like they're not.
Yeah, so I guess for them, they kind of have obviously some bit of natural chemistry because they are a couple. But yeah, they're constantly going back and forth with one another. And so I don't know how long she's been. I mean, Josh Matthews has been with them for a long time now. I don't know Madison Rayne, like how long she's been doing the commentary, because I know they had
she's new. Yeah, she's brand new to it. Because she was a Beautiful People member, and then she went to
Ring of Honor.
And she did the Mae Young Classic, and then she went back to Impact. And as far as I know, she's never done it.
And I know Don Callis was doing some commentary for them.
Yeah.
And he did Slammiversary, but then I don't know why he's gone from doing it regularly. I mean, I don't know if it's like just because of the pandemic. Maybe it's easier for Josh Matthews to do with his wife. Like maybe it's easier to have both of them. I don't know. So like I said,
she's not bad, but she's not where Beth Phoenix is. She's more where Renee was. And it feels kind of weird because she's been in the ring.
Yeah, it's she has moments where I think she's really good, like playing like kind of like the heel out of the two.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, to give them credit, Impact credit, having a female commentator. That's WWE's been doing it with Renee and Beth, and I'm
not indicting her at all because I'm one of the few people that actually really enjoyed Renee on commentary.
Yeah,
but I felt like the commentary, it went off in different places that I mean I've heard WWE, WCW, I've heard everyone do this where they just kind of start going off on something else, but I guess I just haven't heard it in so long that it threw me off. I really dislike Josh Matthews, but I enjoyed him better with her than I did with Don Callis.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I've been rewatching Impact for the last 4 to 6 weeks. Just want to see what the buildup was to Slammiversary. So I don't know who was doing it before Madison Rayne, maybe like earlier this year. I'm not quite sure. But I think for the time being, like I said, maybe because they're married, so it's easier for them to do it together. I don't know, travel arrangements. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But I'm guessing it's just going to take more repetition to maybe kind of develop that on-air chemistry as well. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like I think the potential for them being really funny together is great. And she's constantly like just getting at Josh for like various things that he likes or dislikes. And, obviously they're supposed to be like yin and yang, like opposite opinions and stuff. So I don't know. I think it's a work in progress. who knows? They might be limited on what their options are for commentators as well. So maybe Josh is like, hey, my wife is here. She can just do it with me.
Yeah.
That too. So it's, like I said, Impact, I think overall there's more pros than cons. And as you said, Richard, we're still going to continue watching. So for the time being, we'll still keep talking Impact Wrestling on the podcast. I think it's worth bringing up just to show there's plenty of diverse stuff going on. And like, as we said, NWA, MLW, they're not doing stuff right now. So it's just to show that we should talk about the promotions that are being active, and Impact is one of them.